Hey guys, I'm not doing a live video this time because I went back and kind of watched the other ones that I did, and I realized I'm not getting the level of quality in the resolution that I wish I could get. So rather than lives, I'll just do updates as regular videos. So anyway, I got an update for you here. I got the joist tore out, subfloor and everything out of the galley here, and taking stock of what's going on. This is good news. This is overall good news. So as you can see over here by the settee, this plywood was actually in good shape. Termites never got to it. They did get to the the underlayment. They ate that all up, but that's all right. I needed to tear it out anyway. But the actual plywood is in good shape still, and so too are the joist ends, which are great because, as I mentioned in the previous video, let's see if I can step over here without falling through. This over here, I wasn't planning on tearing this out, so that all gets to stay right as it is. I just cut around it, and again, like here I'm disappointed that I didn't catch the joist itself, but I started cutting beforehand, and if you recall what this floor looked like, it was a disaster. It was really hard to tell where the joist seams were. I wish I would have cut that halfway on, but whatever. It's not a big deal. It's a sitting spot that, is just not a big deal. I might try to get in there. There's old air conditioning lines right there, so it's not so easy just to slide a piece of 2x in there and screw it from this side, but that's probably what I'm going to try to do. Maybe I'll cut that back a little further, knock off the clamps that hold it to the side of the 2x. As I said, slide another 2x in there, join it together, so I have a nice nailer there, just for good form. This side I got lucky and it worked out for me. I just got to notch that back a little further with the multi-tool, and then yeah, all these are going to stay. The aluminum beam runs right where that floor seam is. I'm sorry, not the floor seam, but it's actually the ceiling in the engine room. Right where that ceiling seam is where the aluminum beam runs this way. So that's all solid, just as it is. And so I'll just jump back over here, and then on this side it's the same deal. The aluminum beam runs on that side over there, right there. But unfortunately, pretty much all of those were eaten out by the termites. This one right here, I thought that it was because the tines of my hammer went right into the middle of the 2x right there. So I thought I better cut it out since I'm already this far. But it really wasn't that bad. It didn't need to be cut. No big deal. I'll just put another piece across there. But this over here, there was still definitely some active termite mess going on in there. You can see the big old nest that used to be there. The one I showed you yesterday was right in that spot right there. And they worked up the wall. Between this actual wall. Get out of the wind here. Oops. Between the actual wall that's there was the cabinet wall on this side of it, which is how they ended up filling that all in with that whatever termite mud stuff that they use. And they do that to help travel around. They don't like climbing on the surfaces of stuff, apparently, so they'll make these little tunnels. They'll chew up the wood, spit it out, and form the tunnels and nests like you seen yesterday. So anyway, that's what's going on with the termites. They're still hanging out over there, but not much. So yeah, I've got to get in here with the 2x's, run them across. I got to get the wall plate 2x, ledger board 2x over there. This one spot right here is the one that I worry about. As you can see there, it's pretty eaten out. And then also same deal over here. Not to fall through the floor. As you can see, the one that goes under the counter is way gone. But that's okay too, because when you think about it, that's where the stove goes. So it's just a dead load, and it's going to be constant. That's what it is. And it crosses across to the refrigerator, but by the time you get the refrigerator there, again, here's that aluminum beam. So between that beam and that beam, just a 2x4 right there is going to be fine to support the weight of the refrigerator and the little bit of walk space over there, because it's all eaten out underneath the settee over there as well. But what I'm actually going to do is not run one that direction. I'm going to run them this way instead. Every 16 inches I'll put one. And again, because it's dead load and just, you know, live load right there, walking through there, it's plenty of strength to support what I got to do there. So that's how that's going to go in there. I left the walls here. I mentioned I was going to possibly tear these walls out, but I really need to tear out as little as possible. Whatever I can save at this point in this game, I need to go ahead and save. So over here, you know, this is the same thing I showed you yesterday. I haven't touched this since yesterday. Just got to replace these pieces in here. There's one whole piece that'll connect all the way across here into there, and the rest just gets gapped together. Again, this is the whole engine room underneath, so that aluminum beam continues along on this side here and over there. So it's good strength in that. And then, you know, so by tomorrow this should all be joists back in and ready to throw the subfloor down, which I'm pretty happy about. This ceiling, the ceiling stuff from the engine room, thought a lot about what to do with it, and let's run down there and take a look at it. Let's get some light in here. Where's the light? AC lights. There we go. We got the engines covered up. It is a mess. I'm going to be down here for an hour shop vacuuming all this stuff out of the bilges. Let's see if we can get a good view here. So this is the bridge. It's the hole in the floor there. Obviously that piece of the ceiling is gone. But as you can see, there is a lot of stuff going all over the place. We got wires. These are I believe the cables that actuate the fire suppression system, which I haven't torn it out. I don't know if I want to tear it out yet or not, so just not going to do anything with it right now. These are the, I don't know what they call them, discharges for the CO2 system. So that's all mounted to the ceiling. You've got all this stuff mounted to the ceiling. You've got the little handbars in there. The lights, of course. You got more stuff over here in the ceiling. There's a lot, you know? There's a lot of stuff going on the ceiling. And that makes it very difficult to tear this stuff out. However, regardless of what I do here... Oh, here's these aluminum beams I was talking about. This one and this one. And they run all the way down. Regardless of what I do in here, it's not something that's critical to the operation. It looks like hell, that's for sure. But, you know, once I get everything cleaned back up, you know, knock off whatever loose stuff is here, like that, it's not, you know, it's just aesthetics, really. AC lights. I'll get to it at some point, but to share a little bit more about what I've got going on, let me flip the camera back. Let's try to get some good light here. So, you know, this boat is a restoration for sure that I like to do. I enjoy it, but it is a business. You know, I've got to get this thing making money pretty quick because my budget is almost run out. Now, it's not a budget that I said it can only take me this much money. It's more like this is all the money that I have to throw into it. And I'm down to the final, probably $10,000 is all I have left to put into this. The flooring alone is going to be about $7,500, $8,000 for the finished floor. Now, I've got pretty much all of the materials already purchased from the past fiscal year, which I bought all that stuff because I knew I was going to need it, which is why I have furniture and all this stuff that I'm not really ready for. I have it all sitting in the boat because if I didn't buy it then before the tax year, then I would have to pay the taxes on the money and still buy it anyway. So I would have been that much farther behind. So that was the reason I did all that weird stuff that everybody, I'm sure, was wondering why I did that. And so I'm in a good place with materials for the most part. The guest cabins are basically finished. A lot of cleanup projects to do, touch-ups, fine, small things like electrical, plumbing, small, not things that don't require a lot of materials. They just require a lot of time. So that's good. The master cabin hasn't even been touched, so that's going to take much more time. But again, I don't need the master cabin to be functional in order to be able to start working the boat. And therein lies the rub. I have to start working the boat in order to be able to continue to work on the boat, buy materials, keep going with whatever. So, I got to get this floor in. I got to get the finished floor done. I got to get the salon finished out, the guest cabins finished out. And I'm definitely going to run out of the budget. No, there's no question about that whatsoever. Now, I have additional money that I could use for this project, but it's not really meant for that. It's more meant as my cash cushion to operate the other businesses. And I don't really like eating into that. And then additionally, as income comes in from the Tiki Suites business, that gets redirected into this project as well, which is actually more or less how I've funded this entire thing. Which is good because it takes time to get these things done, which gives me time to build cash back up. However, this has been a slow season so far. I don't know if you guys have been feeling the effects of this impending recession or whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it an impending recession. Or a slowdown. Let's just call it a slowdown. Things were crazy with all the COVID money that was thrown around by the government, and everybody was flush with cash there for a hot minute with their loans and whatever, But then when that spigot got turned off and everybody's money runned out, and meanwhile inflation is catching up with the fact that everybody had money and everybody wanted stuff. Now prices are high, wages are high, but discretionary spending is coming down, and my business is just absolutely at the tippy top of discretionary spending. If you don't have to go on vacation and spend a bunch of money, then you don't. You stay home, you buy your eggs, you buy your electric, all the stuff that's costs a lot of money, you spend on that instead. So I've been having to drop prices quite a bit, and it's kind of scary, how low the prices get, because the expenses are still high. They're actually getting higher and higher, but income's going down. So anyway, that's just the behind the scenes of how the money is coming into this project, and where it sits right now, and really the strategy of why it is I'm doing things the way that I'm doing them. But anyway, like I said, I really don't want to eat into my cash cushion budget, or I guess it is budget, cash cushion account, any more than absolutely necessary, because that money is set aside for in the worst case situation. My motor catches on fire on the shuttle boat, and I got to buy a brand new one. Well, I've got cash set aside for those sorts of emergencies. Or this boat, something happens to it and it requires an emergency haul out. Well, that's expensive. That's going to set me back, depending on what's wrong with it, anywhere from $2,500, $3,000, maybe to $10,000 or $15,000. And it's got to happen right now. And I can't be stuck in the yard like what ended up happening with this boat in the first place, where it got hauled out and just stuck in the yard, right? And then they run out of money, and then it just sits there, and the termites show up, and the leaks start happening, and it just falls into disrepair. And then that's it. And one day I lost my investment, right? That's the point of that cash cushion, not finishing out the master cabin. That's going to have to come through the boat itself generating revenue to pay for itself. So, yeah, that's what's going on here. I guess I'll check back when I start getting some more progress done with these joists, get everything framed in, get the subfloor ready to go in, put the insulation in. I'm going to put rock wool insulation. I've been using that because it's unlike fiberglass, it doesn't absorb water. I mean, it gets wet, but it doesn't, it's different somehow. I don't know, it's a moisture wicking, natural, blah, 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 really good for sound deadening, in addition to thermal protection. So like a 2x4 cavity with fiberglass insulation is rated for R13, but with rock wool it's R15, which is great. and naturally, fire retardant and all that stuff. So anyhow, that's what's going on here. I'll check back in again later. See you guys.